Check this out. Here's how I make the 10 of clubs go 5th from the top. I'm going to control that 10 of clubs by giving the deck just a few shuffles and a few cuts. Alright, like I said, it's going to be 5th from the top. Let's see how I did. Not only did I get it 5th from the top, but I actually also gave myself a royal flush in clubs. And let's take it a step further and go ahead and keep the deck in entire new deck order. If you want to learn how to do this, just keep watching. Welcome guys to the gambling sleight of hand routine. This is a little routine that you can perform to people to kind of demonstrate how you're able to control the deck and give yourself a winning poker hand, for example, or control the cards in the deck. We're going to get into it and show you all the moves. And if you've been following along on the channel this month, you'll know that this is kind of a culmination of all the things we've been learning from the 5 or so different sleight of hand moves that we're going to put together in this video. So I am going to explain those moves in this video. I just might not explain them as in depth as in those other videos. So still stick around, watch the whole routine to see how it comes together. But if there's anything that you're tripping on, that you're having a hard time with in a particular move, know that there's other videos on the channel in a playlist for you that you can go check out. But this is the Hobbyist Magic channel. My name is Michael. If you like magic content like this, be sure to like and subscribe. But for now, let's get into this routine. And I'm not claiming originality here. This is basically just the most straightforward way that you would combine any of these moves. This is how I think anybody would kind of at a most basic level kind of combine them to demonstrate sleight of hand prowess. And if you're unfamiliar with some of those terms, I've been talking about this month, this kind of subcategory of magic called gambling sleight of hand. And that's where you are more openly showing and even saying that you're doing sleight of hand because the entertainment value of the illusion to the audience comes from you seeming to do very fair things as the sort of dealer in this fake card game demonstration. And they're going to be impressed at how you're able to still retain control of the deck and of the cards. And so that's kind of the routine that we're doing today. So to start, we're going to have the deck in new deck order, except for whatever cards you want to control. So let's say you want to make a royal flush appear, you would just retrieve those cards. You could also do 4 of a kind for this particular routine, and you would just take those cards out from the new deck order deck, and you're going to place them on top. Now the easiest way to set that up is to just get a fresh deck out, but if you don't remember, new deck order is like this. You're ascending in the spades, and then you're ascending in the diamonds, and then you're descending in the clubs, and you're descending in the hearts. And remember, the order of cards goes ace, 2 up through 10, and then jack, queen, king. Okay, so you ascend spades, ascend diamonds, you descend clubs, you descend hearts. That is what a fresh deck of cards looks like. An alternative setup you can have for the final reveal is that the black cards and the red cards are separate. And if you do that, of course, you don't have to get them in as much of an order, but you could still maybe do these orders of ascending and descending, but you have the red and black cards separated. So you have that set up and you have your 4 or 5 cards. And if you're doing the royal flush version, maybe you just have a 10 of spades, or maybe you have the ace of spades or the king. I guess any of them work. But in the 10s case, it's more about like, it doesn't really matter what the card is. This is just a card. In the ace or king's case, you might begin your explanation saying, let me show you how I can control a valuable card that I would want to keep in a poker hand. Something like that. But regardless, you have the rest of the cards on top. For our case, let's just go with the king. Let's say we're doing that presentation of, I want to show you how I can control a card for a poker hand. So you're going to take that card and you're going to place it on top of the deck. And you're going to say that I'm first going to cut the card into the deck. And that's where our first move comes in. We are going to do an Erdnase triple cut. So to do an Erdnase triple cut, you're going to take half of the deck with your dominant hand. I'm left-handed for context. You're going to bring it to the top with a little bit of a step away from your subordinate hand. This allows you to come underneath, and I'm going to show you what's happening underneath this packet. With what was the top packet, you're going to cut it in half, and then you're going to come over and bring them to the top. What that looks like from under here is coming out. You're going to drop that packet, come out with your dominant hand first, and then come out with the true top of the deck back here, so that in motion, you seem to have cut the card into the deck. So you've seemed to cut the card in the deck, but it's still here. Now you're going to go into a false shuffle, and you can explain, I don't want to just cut your card into the deck. I'm actually going to make it really hard for me to find it. The push through shuffle, you're going to bring the top packet over. Again, it's helpful if it's a little smaller than this packet, and you're going to make it contained by this packet in the riffle shuffle. So that looks like this. So you're going to shuffle them together in such a way where it's contained by the other packet. You're going to start to bring them together, and you're doing that with the pinkies of both of your hands. So you're going from this motion to then the pinkies are going to the back of the packets. You push them together, and then when you get to maybe about here, you're going to pivot them so that they're at an angle. I like to use my ring fingers here to kind of push up, and I'm letting my thumbs allow this clearing to happen where I don't want this thumb to get in the way of this corner. You see that there? So kind of allow them to be a little loose as they kind of come out. And then there's a moment where now that this is cleared through, you're going to straighten everything out. So you've pushed it in at an angle, you're going to straighten everything out. And now you have this situation, but it's covered under your hands. So now this has pushed through, literally as the name says, and you're going to be able to strip it out. So this option sets you up to go right into the next cut we're going to talk about. You can do the zero shuffle as well, and then you'll just have to do a straight cut for the next move. But this option, the push through shuffle, looks like that, and it sets you up for the next move we're going to do, which is the up the ladder cut. So to do the up the ladder cut, you're going to pull out what is, I know they're still linked together, but this is the top half of the deck. You're going to pull it out, and you're going to put it on top in this step formation, once again, just like the Erdnase Cut. And then you're going to take just a few cards from the bottom of that top packet, and you're going to place them flush with the bottom packet. So now this creates this little jut out of this packet here. You're going to be able to take that whole packet out and place it in a step formation once again. And now this is the up the ladder cut. We're just repeating that formation over and over and over. So take a few cards, put them flush, take the whole packet, put it at a step, take a few cards, put them flush, take the whole packet, put it at a step, and you just keep doing that until there's maybe not too many cards left. When you're done, you just put it on top. And in motion, I love this move because it looks like a true cut. When you're doing that, it'll help to pay attention to how this subordinate hand is gripping the cards. You can check out the full video for that, but you'll get the knack of just kind of shifting your grip so that you are catching the cards in the right order. Another thing to pay attention to is to pull out straight and then come around so that you don't accidentally get cards kind of like getting lost in the shuffle, something like that. Just some things to pay attention to. So in motion, you've gone from cutting the card into the deck, shuffling the cards with a riffle shuffle, and then giving it one more cut. So your patter, your presentation, the words you say during that, again, you've started under the guise of, let me show you how I might control a certain card that I want to have in my poker hand for a game of poker. That's your setup. That's interesting. You're going to go from there. Or say, I'm just going to cut it into the middle of the deck, and I'm going to make it even harder by giving myself a few shuffles and then another cut. So that kind of follows naturally with the moves. Once you have practiced those moves and you have the knack of them, you want to be able to flow through them seamlessly so that your words are just matching up with them. And it's very casual, but they are watching them. And if you've practiced them enough, the audience will really think like, wow, he seems to, genuinely be mixing the cards. But they know you're saying that you're controlling it. So this is why we've set them up to be even more impressed by the other reveals, right? So you can then show that you've brought the card to the top. But then you're going to escalate it and say, but you know what? This alone wouldn't give me a good hand of poker. It would help if I have the whole rest of the set. And you know what? While we're at it, just to show you what I can do, I went ahead and made sure that I kept the deck in complete order. So just by saying something like that, you have the revelation of, oh, wow, impressed. He did what he said he was going to do. But magic relies on surprise. So then you have this as a first surprise, and then you have this as a final surprise. And again, that is just a simple, straightforward demonstration of some cheating at cards skill, but we've still structured it in a way where the entertainment value is there. So does that make sense? You want to have oh, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and then I do it. If you just did that, they would be impressed, but it wouldn't be a trick, right? It wouldn't feel like a full trick. So then you have the second reveal of the hand of poker that you've retained, and then you have the real big reveal of the entire deck being retained in order, and that's a nice little trick there. Added bonus, you can invite the audience to say what card they want the king to be at, and you can use a second deal to make it land on that card. Shout out to Cavan Booth. His YouTube channel talks about utilizing the second deal. I'm sure this idea precedes him of, allowing the number called out or whatever to go with this selection. But what you can do is the strike second deal. So hold the deck like this. It's a little bit of a modified dealer's grip. I'm using my subordinate middle finger to kind of anchor on the corner of the deck. And that allows me to pivot this card like so. I'm going to come in with my dominant hand. And the reason for the name of strike second deal is I'm literally striking this card with my thumb until it reaches my middle finger. And then as I come out with that card, I'm coming back with the top card you see there. So this is the second card having come out. I'm going to retain the king the whole time, and I'm just going to deal the cards down until they say stop or until I reach the number that they named. It might be helpful in this case to maybe just have them name a number between 10 and 20, 1 and 10, just so you don't belabor the point and it takes too long. But that might be an added bonus so that it's not just, oh, I've controlled the card, but you can say, actually, name a number between 1 and 10. They name it, maybe they name 5, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the 5th card, it's the card that you wanted to control, and that'll be a little more impressive even before you get to the final reveal. And all you need to do is just reverse those cards back into the deck before you make your reveal so that there's nothing confusing, like you're down here. Like if you've dealt into some of the rest of the cards, you can reverse it. That way it's still in order. One final thing with the second deal is to remember that bringing your hands together and apart helps. And also from the front angle, this of course is a very exposed angle. From the front angle, it's going to hide under your hands when they come together. And then also angling your hand a little bit toward yourself as you do it is also going to hide some of the sneaky stuff going on. So that's a lot of sleight of hand put together, but you can do this. Keep practicing each of these moves in isolation. And then you have a goal to work toward, you have this goal of a full routine you can display to people. And I think it's pretty fun, and it takes advantage of that surprise element where it's not just this and it's not just this, but it's this full deck being retained, which I think will be really impressive and surprising to folks. It's just a lot of fun. But you don't just have to do this presentation. You can do a little metaphor or make it fun in a different way. It can be difficult to present yourself as a master of sleight of hand and not feel like you're kind of coming across as cocky or arrogant. So think about that. Think about your presentation. Maybe that is your character and people seem to enjoy it. If that's not working for you, you can take a different approach. It might just be a slight change of just saying, man, it's taken me a long time to be able to retain this amount of control over a deck of cards. And it's kind of hard for people to be able to tell all the time that I've put into it. So I'd like to demonstrate something that shows that, maybe just taking more the angle of your love for it and your passion for it, not just I'm amazing kind of angle. That might help, but finding other things to talk about other than this and allowing this to be a vehicle of what you're talking about might also be a route to go down. So consider those things and just remember to make it fun and entertaining for the audience at the end of the day. But I hope you enjoyed this slightly deeper dive into a more fully fleshed out routine. If that's something you want to see more of, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. But until next time, stay a hobbyist at heart, keep enjoying your magic, be kind to yourself and others, and I will see you guys in the next video.